Today we're along the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania, a little place called Long Level. I'm standing outside the Zimmerman house, and we're going to take the native lands hike today, a little over a mile. Not a lot to see, but a lot of story to hear. So, hope you come along, enjoy it, and let's get started. The Native Lands Heritage Trail begins at the Zimmerman Center for Heritage, a mid-18th century home restored by John and Catherine Zimmerman and then donated to Susquehanna Heritage. Listed in the National Register of Historic Places as the Drift Mansion, for its longest occupants, the house hosts heritage programs for visitors, along with exhibits of river art, Susquehannock Indian artifacts, and historic items found during the restoration. The land here was granted by Lord Baltimore to Thomas Creapps in 1729, who operated a ferry and defended the area for Maryland. Creapps was arrested by Pennsylvania authorities in 1736 after skirmishes known as Creapps' War. A dispute finally resolved in 1784 when the Mason-Dixon line was established about 18 miles south of here. The Zimmerman Center has been designated by the National Park Service as Pennsylvania's official visitors' contact and passport station for the Captain John Smith Chesapeake National Historic Trail. This water route along the Chesapeake Bay and its rivers showcases Smith's early 17th century voyages, the natural environment he explored, and the American Indians he met, including the Susquehannocks. Well, here we are at the second stop on the trail. The last known settlement of the Susquehannock Indians occupied this hilltop from about 1676 to 1680. War with other Indians and diseases inflicted by Europeans had reduced the Susquehannocks to about 900 people, down from 3,000 just 20 years earlier. A long stockade wall enclosed the 4-acre village, protecting about 16 90-foot longhouses, each holding 50 or so family members. This site's history demonstrates how dramatically native life was altered after Europeans arrived just 70 years before. In this short time, the Susquehannocks went from being self-sufficient to being bound to the land's new settlers. It is believed that the Seneca Indians drove the last of the Susquehannocks south into Maryland around 1680. They returned to their homeland in Lancaster County several years later, becoming known as the Conestoga Indians. Our next stop is a side trail which leads to the Dritt family cemetery. The Dritt family of Switzerland arrived in America in 1739 and moved to this area from Lancaster County about 1750. Johann Jacob Dritt, born in 1746, took the name Dritt and married Elizabeth Boyer. Dritt was a local militia captain when the Revolutionary War began. He spent 2 years as a British prisoner, then served as a major general in the Pennsylvania militia. In 1783, he purchased Pleasant Garden, Thomas Creapps' former property, which by then included the stone house that is now known as the Zimmerman Center. Dritt worked as a farmer, miller, sawyer, wine merchant, and ferryman. He laid out the village of Washington Borough and received a charter for the first bridge proposed across the river in this area, though it was never built. Dritt drowned in the river in 1817. His body was found and buried downriver in Maryland. After Dritt's death, his daughter Margaret Bonham bought the home, and it remained in the family until 1851. Dritt's wife, daughter, and other descendants were laid to rest in the cemetery. The earliest grave dates from 1824, the last to 1879. The next stop on the tour is the ruins of an 1800s area farmstead located beyond the fence line to the southwest, and is a reminder of this land's rich farming heritage. Now, when we were there, we had some trouble actually finding the ruins. So I would suggest this. At the way stop, number 4, sit on the bench. Look then to your right. You'll see a clump of trees. Go back down the path the way you came, and then when you see a side path going off to the right, take that. And when you get to the clump of trees, you'll be able to see the ruins. Spring flows nearby, a feature that attracted people for centuries. This land's agricultural legacy lately dates back 500 or more years. Growing food was part of Susquehannock life, and the Shanks Ferry people before them. Patches of pawpaws, a native tree grown for its fruit, still thrive here. In 1731, 50 years after the last Indians, Marylander Stephen Onion received a patent for 600 acres around this site, which he called Canada, Iroquois for town. Over the next 2 centuries, the land was developed into traditional Pennsylvania farmland. From the 1930s through the 1960s, the Liebhart family farmed this landscape, cultivating corn, cantaloupes, apples, berries, asparagus, and hay. Remnants of their extensive collection of farm buildings, orchards, and fields are still apparent in the landscape today. Well, now we're at way stop 5. Visible to the north are the historic Lockmont Farms Dairy Complex and High Point Scenic Vista, both of which were part of S. Forey Locke's 3,000-plus acre 1920s era country farm estate. The 40th parallel, originally claimed by Maryland as its northern border, runs along the road just below High Point. Although early American Indians likely made seasonal visits here up to 8,000 years ago, this land is most associated with the Susquehannocks, the last native group to live in the area before Europeans arrived. They settled here about 1575, building the first of several successive stockade villages on the eastern shore. 3 of the largest settlements were located near present-day Washington Borough. In 1608, when Captain John Smith first met the Susquehannocks south of here in Maryland, nearly 2,000 people lived in their settlement. Perhaps due to pressure from other Indian groups, European traders, and settlers, the Susquehannocks moved to the western side of the river about 1665, establishing a settlement just north of what is now Klein's Run Park. As described at Way Stop 2, their last settlement was half-mile to the south of here. And here we are at Way Stop number 6. Although the trail's path across rolling meadows presents a peaceful scene today, this land has seen much controversy. Battles for possession between the Seneca and the Susquehannocks, border conflicts between the Penns and the Calverts, and modern-day debates about development versus preservation are all part of its history. Today, this landscape is a place for sharing a common heritage. The land's healing nature was evident when volunteers from the Mason-Dixon Trail System, York Hiking Club, Lancaster York Native Heritage Advisory Council and the Dritt family worked with York County staff to prepare this site for public use as a park. The Heritage Trail ends at Klein's Run Park, created in the 1930s with the Safe Harbor Dam project. Silt buildup from the dam also created Conehaga Flats, the islands and mudflats across the river. Over 17,000 birds from up to 38 species stop there each year during their migrations to breeding grounds in the Arctic and wintering sites in South America. Archaeology has confirmed human settlement along the river dating back over 12,000 years. It is likely that more than 50,000 Indians lived their lives here before the first Europeans arrived. Even though most of this rich history is not visible, images that native people carved on the river's rocks still exist nearby, the only place on the Susquehanna where such extensive rock art sites have been found.
Hope you enjoyed the video. This is a nice little walk, nice little stroll. Oh, I learned some stuff. I hope you did too and enjoyed it. And as usual, if you enjoyed it, hey, maybe subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up, notifications, and leave a comment. I always like, and I read and respond to every comment on my channel. So, as per usual, have yourself a blessed day now.